What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So it's Monday, back on the grind, and what a nice day to get up and go to work today, huh? Check out the gains across the board. So we're seeing a lot of coins in green. Everything is basically up today for the most part, and if we have a look, we actually surpassed that $210 billion mark we've been looking at. We're sitting at 212 with a $6,447 Bitcoin. Ethereum is up as well. If we look at some of the big gainers of the day, you have Wax, Maker, Basic Attention Token, obviously, Bytecoin, Nexo, XRP, Dash, which we do have some news about Dash in a little bit, Vechain, and Theta token as well. Now, I wanted to start off today's episode kind of on some crazy bullish news, because why not? Let's just talk about some crazy predictions. So we had this interview that came out from Anthony Pompliano. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with his podcast. It's quite popular. So he interviewed Murad Mahmoudov, and he is predicting a $10 million Bitcoin with a $160 trillion market cap. Now, this is crazy even for some of the biggest believers in the space, right? So he goes on to explain, the supply and inflation and all these other things that we're very familiar with. So he says Bitcoin being compared to digital gold is an understatement. Really what it is digital monetary nuclear weapons. Geez, if that's not bullish. But let's keep reading. He says, really, if you extrapolate this phenomenon and this sort of financial change, Bitcoin will be a black hole that will absorb a tremendous amount of value. He goes on to say, I am very confident Bitcoin will be bigger than the US dollar and potentially even bigger than all traditional currencies combined. He says, for example, cryptocurrencies are harder to tax, harder to seize, easier to transfer, harder to steal, cheaper, easier, faster to send around the world, and that's just a few use cases. They're borderless. They are uber competitive. They're highly deflationary. All of these reasons combined is why he believes that Bitcoin will be incredibly big. So Mahmoudov said he thinks that over the next 36 months, we're going to see an inflow of capital from very sophisticated people that most of the financial world is not expecting. Even the most hardcore Bitcoin believers are actually drastically underestimating what we're talking about here and what the potential is. He says this is the most important piece of technology that the world has ever seen. Crypto might be the last easy way to get rich in my generation. I know, crazy bullish, right? But I just wanted to start off on some good news today. We got to do that sometimes. But on a serious note though, one of the things that people have actually been pointing out is declining mining difficulty. So they say that the market analysis have recently called attention to a historical trend in Bitcoin's price action that could potentially signal some changes in its direction, namely a possible end to the bear market. So mining difficulty, specifically the direction of the difficulty changes, getting less or more difficult. Mining Bitcoin is currently becoming less difficult, which is a phenomenon rarely, as it's only happened for about 13% of Bitcoin networks history. So you can see right here, they pointed out in the charts with these red spots, it says that Element, which is the research company, they outline the correlation between decreasing mining difficulty and Bitcoin price movement, among other effects. What it found is that the rare event of mining difficulty reduction often occurs towards the bottom of market cycles. So when Bitcoin sell pressure abates and prices find their lows. So falling mining difficulty invariably means that mining power, or hash rate, is leaving the network. Because the difficulty adjustment script, which tries to keep Bitcoin mining time to 10 minutes per block, is noticing that blocks are taking more than 10 minutes to be mined because of less hash rate. So a higher concentration of Bitcoin mining rewards and higher efficiency of those still mining could translate to decreasing selling pressure on the part of remaining miners selling less Bitcoin for operational costs. Finally, the leveling of hash rate could very well be miners exiting during hard times and the network and mining power consolidating. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Max Keiser. He's a former Wall Street trader and television show host for Russian Today Network. He said confidently that price follows hash rate, especially when talking about Bitcoin. So these are two different things we're looking at right here, okay? We have one person who's looking at it from a very financial, economic type of view, and we have somebody that's looking at this from experience with hash rate. So these are very different views, but they're both looking really positive for Bitcoin action moving forward. Now, I wanted to also talk about this. I usually leave adoption for the end of the news, but I wanted to put it in the beginning today because this is something that I actually found out about when I was in the conference in Vegas. So it turns out that Blockchains LLC is announcing plans to build an entire smart city utopia in the middle of the Nevada desert. So the city is going to be the first smart city built from scratch with blockchain technologies at its core. So here's the interesting thing though. For those of you that don't already know, Blockchains LLC has already made headlines earlier this year because they've purchased over 60,000 acres of land for $170 million in cash. So they've already purchased this land and they have it and they are ready to build on top of it. As you can see right here, this is a tweet that they put out, and it said, all the speculation stops now. We're excited to announce that we're building the first smart city. So if you come down here, they're going to include all different things. They're going to have homes, apartments, markets, schools, a college campus, an esports gaming arena, and even a bank. And not only will the smart city implement the use of blockchain technology at its foundation, but it's also going to incorporate 3 other technologies, which are artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and 3D printing as well. So the city will become an incubator for the research of sustainable energy, clean water, and more. If you guys want, you can come down here and watch a video. Obviously, I'll drop a link in the description for this. So I wanted to talk about basically what the CEO is saying, and his name is something Burns. Hold on one second, I forget. Okay, Jeffrey Burns. So basically what he said was, we have a sandbox that has all of these tools, all of this potential. We have investors chomping at the bit for tax-free money, but what we don't have is the developer talent that we need because it's such a huge undertaking. What we need is all of you, obviously the community, builders, developers, whatever, to help build this up from the ground because obviously they can't do it themselves. So, while the idea of a blockchain-powered smart city seems highly ambitious and futuristic, it actually may come true. It says Burns has already invested over $250 million of his own money into the project and has already actually secured a partnership with NV Energy, and he's fully committed to it taking off if he can get the help. So I just had a lot of bullish news, a lot of great things. I wanted to bring it to you early in the video today. Now let's talk about some coin news. Let's get into what's going on. So the big news was obviously the Bitcoin Cash fork. We spoke about that yesterday. So it looks like BitMEX has actually released a new monitoring tool for it, and it's called forkmonitor.info, and it's useful for monitoring the situations during network upgrades, and they say it's connected to several nodes, etc. So basically, if you're interested in looking at it, this was the official statement that they released over here. They have all the different nodes. They have Bitcoin Cash nodes, Bitcoin nodes as well. Here's Bitcoin ABC versus Bitcoin SV, Satoshi's Vision, Bitcoin Unlimited. You can see the difference if you guys want. And this is the website. Isn't it just so exciting, guys? This is it right here. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on. I thought this was pretty funny, so I wanted to talk about this before we get on to any other coin news. So, did you guys see the cryptic letter that Tether recently put out? Let me show it to you before I get into this. But essentially, they had 3 lawyers that looked at it. But this is the letter. This is the letter right here. It's less than 100 words. I can literally read it to you. It says, "Dear sirs, we hereby confirm that at the close of business on October 31st, 2018, the portfolio cash value of your account with our bank was US 1.831322.828 billion. This letter is provided without any liability, however, arising on the part of Deltic Bank and Trust Limited, its officers, directors, employees, and shareholders, and is solely based on the information currently in our possession. Yours faithfully," whatever the heck this is, this signature, Deltic Bank and Trust Limited. So you're seeing people put memes out, yours faithfully, you got the Bitcoin guy riding on the signature. But let's get serious for a second. So what did these lawyers have to say about it? So let's talk about it. So it says, specifically the letter confirmed that they, October 31st, whatever, had a value of 1.8 whatever billion. So that exceeds the circulating supply of Tether, which is currently 1.776 billion according to CoinMarketCap, apparently indicating that the company is complying with its promise to hold $1 for every Tether in circulation. But not helping to clarify matters, when reached by CoinDesk, a Deltic spokesperson would neither confirm nor deny the relationship or the authenticity of the letter, citing legal and regulatory restrictions. However, later in that day, a Deltic chairman, Gene Chalopin, messaged CoinDesk saying that, you contacted us a couple weeks ago, and we're sorry we couldn't be more helpful. As you know, banking sectors are strongly regulated, and we have to be careful in matters of communication. Although this was a letter that's been put out, so I don't really understand that, but let's keep talking about it. So then they say this letter is provided without any liability. So essentially, Any liability means that a bank could not be held responsible for actions taken as a result of the letter that it sent. Okay. Take that with a grain of salt. So in other words, there's a case law precedent for what one entity might owe another. So Matthew Gertler, an attorney who recently joined Reserve, who is actually issuing a stable coin, which I've done an interview with the guys. But anyway, he says, while Tether's decisions to publish the letter might indicate that it's for public consumption, then readers should not assume they've been given any sort of legally meaningful guarantee of anything since they're extraneous to the Deltic-Tether relationship. So the letter's written to Tether for Tether, is what he said. So the bank is basically saying that if it's wrong and Tether suffers a loss, Tether cannot sue the bank. And he says, I should note that anyone else who relies on the bank letter cannot go after the bank because the letter is for Tether and no one else. The language of the letter covers it in case there was a system or other error that caused the amount to be misstated. He said, adding, this is lawyers doing what lawyers do. Another focus was the phrase portfolio cash value. So to some, that appeared to be an artful way of saying that the firm is not strictly complying with the language in its white paper. As one user pointed out, portfolio cash value potentially leaves room for assets that aren't US dollars, perhaps even cryptocurrencies. The balance could even be money that was loaned to Tether for even just one day. So Gertler proposed a more generous interpretation. More likely, the portfolio is of various fiat currencies or various different bank accounts, he said. If it only uses USD, the bank letter is probably a form letter that contemplates various fiat and bank accounts. So, in conclusion, Tether has still not yet produced a full audit of its bank balance, despite language in the white paper saying the corresponding total amount of USD held in our reserves is provided by publishing the bank balance and undergoing periodic audits by professionals. So, whatever interpretation there is of this Deltic letter, it clearly is not helping doubts for Tether, and I don't know why they're not just getting an audit. Like, you're not helping it out, Tether. So I just wanted to say that. Really funny. I know I went on a rant. Honestly, guys, you know my feelings on Tether, but you gotta laugh at stuff like this. So anyway, moving forward, let's get on to some cryptocurrency coin news of the day. So, let's start with XRP. So XRP, love it or hate it, guys. You have Canadian crypto exchange Coinfield, which uses XRP as the base currency, has announced that it's gone live with 20 trading pairs against XRP. Here's the announcement right here. So they're going to offer 28 pairs across 6 different fiat currencies, including US dollar, Canadian dollar, euro, Great British pound sterling, Japanese yen, and UAE dirham. And Coinfield's upgraded matching engine is capable of making up to 75,000 trades per second, or roughly 1.5 million API calls per second. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of these XRP-based exchanges popping up in the future. Now, let's also talk about a pretty cool achievement from the Bancor team. So they say, we are thrilled to announce that our cross-blockchain decentralized liquidity network Bancor X has officially been pushed live, enabling automated token conversions between 110 plus ERC20 and EOS based tokens. Also, you guys may have remembered this from back in May. We had Vechain signing a partnership with Bright Foods. Well, recently, you actually have Bright Code has put out a commercial actually that talks about, supply chain, and, you have the woman over here and she's checking and she scans it to see, if it's legit, where it came from, whatever. Obviously it's all, not in my language, but they do have subtitles. But I thought that was really cool. So check that out. It's nice to see these partnerships coming to fruition. So you got people, there you go, not even realizing that they're using a blockchain. That's how you get adoption right there. Just people have an app, they download it, they scan it, they use it, it gives them info, they're using a blockchain, they don't even know it. So let's also talk about a project that, I used to speak about a lot on the channel, OmiseGo. So they finally have their first dApp that came out. It's called Plasma Dog. So it showcases a critical scaling layer. OmiseGo's Plasma MVP is being developed on the Ethereum network. So although it's a game and they're saying that it's not exactly going to get the world super excited about OmiseGo, it marks an important milestone under the hood. It allows for true ownership of in-game assets. You guys know I am super big on this. Collectibles, assets, ERC 721, tradable, non-fungible tokens. Okay, this is really, really important to me. So they're saying that you'll be able to buy and sell in-game items. And this is really cool because it relies on the UTXO standard. So congratulations to OmiseGo for, getting involved in the gaming space as well. I want to also talk about Dash. Now, this is really important what these guys are doing. Obviously, there's been a lot of issues in Venezuela lately, so they've recently launched their SMS-based cryptocurrency transaction for Venezuelan users, and this is called Dash Text. So this eliminates the need for Venezuelans to possess internet access to carry out crypto transactions, which has been a major barrier to adoption, right? And a lot of people say this, what if I don't have internet access? I can't send and receive crypto. So they've actually figured out a way to do it with SMS text. So this is developed in partnership with Block Cipher, and Dash Text will enable users of Movistar and Digital, which are Venezuela's largest telecom providers, to access the Dash network service via a 5-digit shortcode. So look how easy this is. It's all you do. You send a text message with the word dash to 22625, followed by another message with the word CREAR, with the same number, and then this basically creates your Dash wallet. Once this is done, you'll be able to send and receive Dash via SMS. How simple is that? You literally send 2 text messages, you have an account, and you are ready to send and receive Dash. Absolutely incredible. I am so proud of the Dash team for what they've really been doing lately. It's definitely awesome. Also, I wanted to give a shout out to Coin Boys. I got to meet these guys at World CryptoCon. Really cool guys, down to earth guys, but they still do the occasional meme. And I wanted to give them a shout out because they had a really awesome podcast with Scott Smiley, and he is from ICX Station. So if you're interested in learning more about the Icon ICX Station, I think this is definitely a great podcast to check out. It's something I briefly covered in my talks with Marcus from D-Block, but they go into a lot deeper depth here. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. Also, guys, I wanted to talk about MetaMask finally hitting 1.3 million users. This is a huge milestone for these guys. Obviously, this means more people are on board, more people are signing up, more people are using Ethereum-based addresses. And the other thing that I wanted to point out too is that they are fully compatible with Ledger and Trezor hard wallets. So this is really good because you guys know I'm a fan of Ledger. I put most of my crypto on the Ledger, so this made me very happy as well. On the same note of Ethereum though, I wanted to talk about this company. Now, what I found cool about these guys, this is Lition, and they didn't even do an ICO. Apparently, they're going to be doing one, but they haven't done one yet because they felt that ICOs came across as kind of like scammy or whatever, and it was a really bad time. So this was launched earlier this year, and this is a German company, and they have clients in 12 major cities, including Berlin, Hamburg, and Munich, which are now using its decentralized energy market. So in total, you have more than 700 households across Germany that are now using this to buy energy and, sell energy. So basically, they're bypassing the unnecessary middleman, which we find now. I mean, for me over here, with our energy, we're limited. I mean, we have Central Hudson, and you don't have a choice. I mean, you either use them or you don't. And it's essentially a monopoly. So you have the CEO of the company, and he's saying, these multinational intermediaries, they have too much influence and they don't give users enough choice in what type of energy they can buy. So our energy connects customers and producers directly. And this is stuff that we've seen with companies like Power Ledger or Electrify Asia and all these other different companies as well. And I'm really happy to see more of these springing up, especially the fact that they didn't even have an ICO. So that is really cool. And then here you go, talking about these centralized entities. So you have Bitly. They're the guys that shorten the links. So it turns out that they've blocked over 200 links from Andrea Antonopoulos' Mastering Ethereum, which is crazy. This guy is one of the most well-respected speakers in the space, and he's literally essentially being censored. So he hit him up and was like, why are you blocking me? He hit him up on Twitter. He says, I'm about to publish my 4th book. It's has about 200 links. If you're going to block links, I need to remove all 200 and replace them. They've yet to reply. So there you go. And centralized companies, they do stuff like this. Okay, 200 links completely blocked, and we're not even going to give you a reason why, right? So, this is why they're saying you can't rely on any of these centralized services. And somebody even jokingly said, not your keys, not your Bitcoin, not your shortener, not your link. So also, here's an interesting story. I'm not going to go too deep into this, guys, because this is a little it's too much right now. But long story short, here's a story about a kid that had $5,000. He invested it into crypto. He made $800 in trading crypto. Then that 800, because he held, fell down to 125K. But now they're saying that he owes $400,000 in taxes. So tax season is coming up, especially in the US. And if you guys are interested, you may want to have a look at this and some of the craziness that goes on. You know, they had a poll here, and it says, okay, US people, crypto taxes. 19% said already filled and paid, and 53% said they'll never catch me. But they might, guys. It's possible. So I don't know. Check it out. You might be interested in figuring out what is going on with that. But one thing I did want to talk about before we go, you know, I love adoption. I know we're getting kind of long with this video. Got to get out of here, guys. So I want to talk about in an industry first. You have Indian oil and energy conglomerate Reliance Industries has completed a trade finance transaction with US-based Tricon Energy, a global chemical distributor. So the end-to-end live transaction was executed over R3's Corda blockchain. So what's interesting is they did use blockchain, but they used it for fiat. So it's not like they're sending each other cryptocurrencies, okay? But they are using blockchain. So that is a step forward. And if that didn't make you happy, guys, how about this story? Former Goldman Sachs bankers charged in multi-billion-dollar money laundering scandal. And it turns out that $4.5 billion of the embezzled money was allegedly used to buy luxury real estate, a yacht, and to invest in films like The Wolf of Wall Street. Okay, you know what? That's actually not good news, okay? But I just wanted to point it out that this is the kind of stuff that's still happening in the traditional system, yet you still have people that have their opinions on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and these other things. But you know what, guys? I actually am going to leave on some positive news, so check this out. So this came from a Dutch children's television show, and essentially the whole premises of the show was they're explaining the difference between the traditional financial system and Bitcoin. So I thought this was really cool. I can't understand any of it. It's in a completely different language, but hopefully somebody out there can translate this. I think it'd be pretty cool to actually know what they're saying. But there you go. So you have a children's show that it's actually explaining the difference between, you know, traditional fiat type banking systems and cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. So there you go. That's some good news to leave it on at the end of the episode. That being said, guys, it's Monday. Get it back on the grind. Pleasure to have you guys back on the channel. I hope you guys are getting geared up for a great week. Hopefully all of these speculations about the bull market, you know, but if not, guys, it's okay. I mean, we've already been through the whole year with a bear market, and if you are still here, congratulations, because you are, yeah, you're definitely going to be the one to reap the benefits. I'll say that. So thank you so much again, everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting. You guys are freaking awesome. You're the reason I do this every single day. And that being said, my name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto, and peace out.